Hello, guys. Hey,
Hi
guys.
guys.
Welcome again to another episode with us on T and I perspective. All right. So, today we're going to be talking about a very interesting topic, which is motherhood.
Yeah.
So, and yes, we're just going to be talking about our own experiences. Well,
Mhm.
specifically yourself, my wife,
Yeah. My
Ibuku.
take. My take on motherhood.
Your take,
So
yes.
yeah.
So it will be, we'll be asking some questions and I think talking because I believe you've got some experience
Mm-hmm.
and it's just your own opinion about what you've gathered so far
Mm-hmm.
regarding motherhood. And
Mm-hmm.
we hope that, people would, take some of it and learn from it. And then we can have discussions as well in the
Yeah.
comment section. Yeah. So you're a mother of three, if people don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So how has it been
For me.
basically for
Mm.
you as a as a
To be
mother?
honest, sometimes I can't believe we have 3 kids. Sometimes I'm like, I look at them, I'm thinking, where did you come from? I know where you came from. I'm like, really? I was 20 a few years ago. What
I know.
happened?
And then you're thinking, oh God. But
Yeah, no, but
they are they are joy, really.
yeah, they are.
Yeah,
It's
they are.
really interesting, actually,
Mm,
because I feel like, in as much as I know we talked about parenthood in a kind of nutshell, in a summarized
mm,
way, in one of our previous episodes, I do feel like motherhood has been like a stage of development for me. And it's
mm,
really been an eye opener, but a really a
mm.
beautiful journey of
Good.
self discovery for me.
Yeah.
And I say that because, you know what, when you are younger, you don't
Mm,
realize as well that your early experiences shape the kind of parents that you're going to be. And obviously, me being like the oldest of 3 girls, I was always used to doing things at home, like chores and like looking after everyone else, like my siblings, and babysitting them, thinking about like
mm.
with my younger sister, thinking about, oh, okay, it's half term, we're going to do your hair, braids, singles, that sort of thing. But then now applying some of those things and then having full ownership responsibility of your own
Your
children
own
is,
children, yeah, it's
it's
different.
different. But
Yeah.
it's definitely been a beautiful journey. I think I can see an evolution within myself from being a first time mom.
Mm,
I definitely feel like I have acquired more wisdom
mm.
as I've gotten along in this journey. But I think it's been a good one. It's been, like I said, it's been an evolution of myself. I think it's made me realize my strength.
Yeah.
It's made me realize what is priority.
Mm-hmm.
It's made me realize the kind of values and the things that I want to instill in my children.
Mm-hmm.
It's made me realize that,
Yeah.
and it's not something that I should take for granted,
Yeah.
even when I feel like I'm tired or, maybe, the things of life, like, work, etc. You
Mm.
still have to come back home and make sure you give your best to your kids, or your best efforts to your kids, whether it is in their development,
Yeah.
the physical development, the educational development.
Yeah.
You can't afford to slack. But then this is where, as a couple, there'll be times where one person will do
You probably do
something,
a little
majority
bit
of
more.
it,
Yeah.
but you work together. But I
Yeah.
think motherhood has definitely made me, I think, a bit of like a better person in
Mm.
terms of, it's given me structure, and it's given me a sense of, you're kind of taking care of these lives,
Yeah.
and it is really a blessing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, we would sort of stay in that sort of point that you were mentioning about the changes that you've found out as being a mom of three, different things. How you've grown as a person, as a mom, and things that you're quite conscious of now.
Yeah.
I mean, still on that. So when you became when you first became a mother, so like your first our first child, what changed in you the most? What would you say you noticed the most that you probably was not when you were probably not a mom? What would you say changed in you the most? I think you mentioned some of those points, but we just
Yeah, yeah.
just for people to
I think
get, yeah.
I think probably I became more conscious of the world, the society at large. And this sounds a bit dramatic, but I felt like, oh, I need to really get myself together in terms of where we live, the kind of environment I
Yeah.
want my child to be exposed to. I became more, not that I was selfish pre-kids, but I was very much like, okay, this is not the case of I can't be selfish. I have to be very much try to prepare myself as much as I can.
Yeah.
Maybe have like some saving or start saving, start thinking about things like that. Start thinking
About
about,
your future.
yeah, the future
Things,
of your
yeah,
children
yeah,
and all
yeah.
that. Like we were talking about, I think we were talking about ISAs at the time and all
Yeah,
that
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
You know,
Even though we don't, even we didn't even have eyes out or
yeah,
something,
yeah,
but
we didn't.
we,
At the
yeah,
time
yeah,
we were still newly married, so we were trying to figure ourselves out. But it made me think more about, okay, what kind of the future for the children.
yeah,
The future, what sort of financial sort of support you want to have in place for them. It made me think about, I think, you know what, motherhood also made me, and I think we've said this before in a previous episode, that
yeah,
it just aligns you in terms of your priorities. It makes you realize that every of your actions have a reflects on your children or your family.
yeah. Yeah, definitely. I think that's something that I would say that you are very conscious about. And as a mom, I mean, looking at you from, from, let's say, outside kind of thing, outside looking at you sort of thing, I would say, yeah, that's something that I would say that you're very, very conscious of that. Like you would always say, can we be mindful on certain things that we do or how we plan things? So because of the kids or even the environment, even up to where we eventually wanted to get a house, the school and things like that. Like I can see like you're sort of forward planning
Thinking,
every time,
definitely. It does make you forward plan.
even the schooling
Yeah.
and stuff. You've been praying
The
about
area I
that.
wanted us to live in, because I was like, I want a
Exactly.
place where I feel like
You know,
if the kids were to go down the street and play with a
they'll be
friend, I'd feel
safe.
like no way is safe in the world.
Yeah.
No way is really 100% safe in the
But
UK.
at least you feel
a sense of
a sense of,
slight
yeah,
bit
yeah,
of peace.
yeah, yeah.
So things like that. But also more specifically in terms of my body, I think I remember the first few months of being a mother
Yeah.
and just all the body changes that were going on with me. I felt, I don't know, I was very much like, wow, I was in awe of it. I was in awe
Because
of
you've
it,
never
but
had that kind of
because I've
change.
never had the experience.
yeah.
I think the only difficulty was obviously the breastfeeding side was a bit of, I struggled initially. So the midwife had to support me with that. And then I got the hang of it. And then it's been,
And then after that, the second one came. Boom,
yeah.
third one.
Dear. It's been, why is your breast out?
you
like,
just
oh,
became
I
so
didn't even-
comfortable about it, you know.
Oh, dear.
I mean, I can say so many stories around
Yeah.
that where you literally just got so blasé about it, like, yeah, you know,
Yeah.
unlike when you started in the beginning. And I think probably a lot of people will resonate with this as well. And it just shows how you've sort of evolved over time, over the years. So I mean, keeping on that, you've mentioned a lot of moments there that's probably made you like grow and evolved and so on. But as have there been moments where you felt like you've lost yourself a little bit in
Yeah.
motherhood?
Yeah, I
You
definitely.
can give some instances.
Yeah, I can. I think, like I said, so I can see the transition from first pregnancy. I was very much like, wow, this is so amazing. I was like comparing the book that we had, What to Expect when you're expecting,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh yeah, so this time it's week this is what's happening.
Yeah.
I even signed up to a website or something like that was telling me, Ibukun, this week your baby is this
Oh yeah,
size.
I remember
blah, blah,
that one.
blah.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, yeah.
And that was quite exciting. But then the second pregnancy it was in lockdown, so it's very chilled and restful. And then the third one, I think because so our kids are like 2 years apart.
Yeah.
2 years, the first
Yeah,
two.
2 years
Then,
apart.
yeah, 2 years apart. So I think we had moved house, we had moved away from the community that we were part of. So, and I also felt like, I think I was going through a bit of postnatal depression. Not a bit, I was going through postnatal depression. So I felt like I'd lost a sense of my own identity. And I tell you why. I think because I felt very much like, okay, I'll have my kids. They will grow. I'll grow back into a certain stage in my career. I'll also be able to do some of the things that I wanted to do in terms of my own musical aspirations. But then I realized, wait, it doesn't work like that. This is a season where you have to, it's almost like you're being still with your children.
And it's not easy.
And it's not easy, especially if you're ambitious and goal orientated and you have all these aspirations. But it was the third pregnancy that made me sort of feel like, oh wait, this is now an additional sort of, I don't want to call it weight because children are not a weight, they're a blessing, but it's an additional assignment.
Yeah.
So and it's not as easy to be flexible when it comes to maneuvering yourself until they're a certain age.
Yeah.
Because they're dependent on you. Of course, they're children. You're a toddler. You can't. I can't just leave my child with somebody who may not have that sensitivity toward my child, etc. Just because I want to do something. So it was the realization of there are certain things you can't necessarily prioritize. This is your priority right now, and I think gradually I became more strengthened and reassured that obviously it's a season, it passes. Your children won't be at that toddler stage forever. They'll be more independent. Like when we look at our older one, he can do things by himself.
It's scary as well.
Yeah, it's scary, but when you look back at the second or third, when you look at the third one, you can see the different stage, and you can see that the first one needed you. But then now he's more independent. Second one also transitioned into that. Now our daughter,
third one is...
in fact, when our daughter was even 2, because she was seeing her brothers go to school, it was like
she wants to go to
school. So we knew, okay, you're over ready.
You're literally ready.
You don't want to be at home.
You don't want to be at home.
We'll get you into nursery. And she was the only one out of our kids who didn't go to nursery
until when she was
2.5.
2.5. Yeah.
So she's gonna be 4 soon, but. It was very much we wanted to keep her at home. There wasn't any need to be in nursery, but it was very much realizing that actually I can't maneuver as I think I want to. But it's fine because sometimes it's a season. I feel like motherhood for me is also a season, especially the pregnancies. Because that's just one aspect. Was literally a season where I felt like I could sit with God a bit more, have a bit more stillness from the business of the world. I remember some of the best moments I've had in worship, in prayer, even in that season, and just being able to just even be at home and cook things from scratch. I know it sounds plain, but it was such a beautiful moment, beautiful times. Not that I can't do that occasionally, but it's like at the weekend.
It's different. It's different. You were able to have time to, should we say, get yourself together again, have some moment for yourself.
Yeah.
Although obviously you're bringing up the child and so on, but it's like a solemn time.
Yeah, and there wasn't this sense of rush.
Yeah.
When you're going to work, oh my God, it's 8:00, guys.
Yeah, we need to go to work. We need to get them to nursery.
You're trying to get everyone ready, but when you're at home on maternity, you're getting people, the kids ready, etc. But you can come back. I remember I used to have naps with the kids, with our son when he was still at home, or my daughter, and it's things like that. And then you wake up and say, "Oh, it's time to pick up the other one." It's like those are priceless moments. You don't always, you don't get back. And I think those are the moments that I do love and appreciate. But I guess that was probably the period where I felt.
Yeah, the period that you felt. Okay.
Yeah, down.
Okay. Yeah. That's those are very, very, very important points that you mentioned there,
Yeah.
and it really shows the dynamics when it comes to motherhood as well, and what could probably come of it. And despite all, things still work fine. But also, sort of, we're just gonna take it up a notch a little bit now. So now about raising the kids and so on. We've got 3 kids, but in your perspective, what has been the biggest difference between having one child and having 3 children?
That is a good question, actually. Oh, Lord. Do you know what?
As a mother, yeah.
Do you know what? Having one child, I felt like you can still maneuver yourself. It was like, it's just an extra, an extra person, an extra little person.
You can just
carry them along, But now with the other 3, it's like it's 2 versus 3.
You have to literally think about your life first before you.
You do have to think twice, like planning your outings, planning your, even like when you think about tickets, when you want to go on holidays, they'll do deals. It's 2 kids, 2 adults. About it. Okay, what about us? We have 3.
And then hotel.
Yeah, even in a hotel. So you now have to get an extra.
You have to, because of 3 kids.
But we always know how to squeeze it out to like, snuggle together. But yeah, it's things like that. But also I think for me, I always refrain from going out by myself. If I don't have you with having 3 kids. If I want to socialize, I make sure that either you're there or maybe my sister is there, because
you don't go.
I don't go. Or if I go, I know it's a social occasion for the kids, and I'm there supervising, but they can play with their friends. It's really difficult to go out with 3 children. And I think sometimes as well, one thing I've had to come to terms with is sometimes people don't really understand when they invite you to places and you can't necessarily come because it's a lot.
Yeah.
Also, childcare as well isn't always easy.
With 3
it's
kids,
expensive.
Yeah.
So you always have to think. We always have to think. Oh, can we go to a particular event? Is that a priority? If not, we don't just prioritize it, because it is expensive. The more kids you have, the more you have to pay. So it's expensive. So
and the more complicated it gets as well, isn't it? Or is that?
I mean, I don't want to say it's more complicated, but I guess so. Because, like, for instance, I'll have my mom with the kids. She knows how to handle them. She knows how to sort of entertain them as well. But if I were to take them to a childminder, I just wouldn't feel comfortable that they would all have the dedicated attention that they needed.
Like the 3 of them, isn't
around,
it? Yeah.
Maybe my sister will pop around. They'll have the TV. They'll have some like activities that they're doing. So it's really, really difficult from that aspect. But again, it's, for me personally, I think I've always wanted a large family. Would I want the amount that I wanted when I was younger? No. But I appreciate having 3 kids. To be honest, I would have loved to have 4, but never mind. But never mind.
That one is for a different topic. Please, so.
But, on a serious note, I want to say actually that parenthood for me, there's like different things that I mirror. And I think, different things that have influenced me.
Yeah.
So I think the first thing biblically, there's a story in the Bible, and I don't know if it really correlates, but you know the story of Eli.
Yeah.
And Samuel. So obviously Samuel was Hannah's son, she gave birth to him at old age, and her promise to God was that she would rededicate him back to him.
God,
so when he was of a certain age, she said, okay, you need to go back to the house of God and serve him, etc. And so there was this man of God called Eli, and just for context, and Eli was training him, training him how to hear God, etc., and just training him. But when you look at that story, which to me is quite scary, I think in the book of Samuel, anyways.
Yeah.
So it talks about how even though he trained Samuel, etc., even though Eli was a servant of God, etc., his own children were doing things that God did not, did not condone,
And then he
etc.
knew about it.
And he knew about them, and he didn't really do anything
much.
about it. So God decided it doesn't matter what you're doing for me, because you couldn't do this for your own children. This is your faith. And when I read that story, I find it so harsh, but it's the extent of how God places parenthood.
Because we are caretakers.
Yeah, we're
basically.
caretakers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I always have that at the back of my mind. So sometimes when I come home from work, the Holy Spirit will say, "Oh, you need to read with the kids, like a script, or even if you're tired, you need to teach them a scripture." And I'm like, "Oh," but then I get reminded of that story. I'm like, "No, God
need
is
to do
really
something.
placing
Yeah,
a high
yeah,
value
yeah.
on what I want to do."
Yeah.
So that sort of instilling that Christian value, of those biblical sort of knowledge, is really important for me. So those are the kind of values that I want to place in my kids. So biblically, there are so many things that I have drawn from that I try to implement or instill in our children, because I feel like they really matter to God. And then personally, also as well, just from the way I grew up,
Yeah.
seeing, for instance, the kind of parents that I had, like my father was very proactive, very much like he cooked, he cleaned it. And those are the things, the kind of values I want to instill in the boys, especially.
Yeah.
And I'm very
definitely.
concentrated on the boys because, so we have 2 boys and a girl. But because I want them to be the best that they can be for whoever they marry.
Yeah.
Or the best that they can be for themselves when they reach that level of independence in adulthood.
Yeah.
It's that thing of, well, they don't know it yet, but, they'll be doing things. They'll be cooking, cleaning, all that stuff.
Exactly. They have to still live by themselves first.
Yeah, so but
so
it starts
that's
in the home.
Yeah. And that's something, that's a value that we both share right from the beginning, from
Yeah.
even when we were dating and
Yeah.
everything. And this is something that even I took from
Your
my
own
side
home.
as well.
Yeah.
That I felt as a man or as a boy, you should be able to do certain things as well. You shouldn't be like very dependent on your sisters, or probably eventually your girlfriend or your wife or something. You should be able to do things by yourself, like cook properly, rather than, so those are the sort of values that we wanted to instill in the kids. So we're just going to take it up a little bit as well again. So this is more of like honest challenge and so on. So do you think mothers are under pressure to always look like they are coping? I know you mentioned about postnatal depression, because and you obviously quite vocal about that, but I believe some women or some mothers, they, especially in our culture, we want to sort of feel like, oh, I'm fine, or probably not even our culture. I think in general, it's more like, yeah, you want to sort of show that you're fine, but probably deep down they're struggling. So do you think mothers are under pressure to always look like they are coping? Is it something that is common?
I don't know. It's a hard question. It's a good question, but it's a hard question because having had experience with, I won't obviously share the story, but with social services, etc., there is this innate, what's the word? There is this thing of that women have to, that not even a woman,
It's
but
like a subconscious perception
there is
from the
like,
society.
I guess, on an unspoken rule that obviously if you're a parent, you have to try and have things together. And the expectation is, actually, you don't realize even who's watching you. Like, we've had experiences where take your kids to school and some people have said, oh yeah, I've had a call from, social services because, my child had, didn't look put together. Or even recently someone was telling me how their daughter-in-law was contacted by social services because she mentioned at work that, oh, she can't sleep and she can't she can't cope, but she wasn't saying it
Yeah,
in a
yeah.
way that was
Oh,
like, I can't cope, I'm depressed. It's I can't
wow.
cope because it's a lot, but I'm
Yeah, yeah,
managing.
yeah.
But they misconstrue that.
Wow.
So I guess in that sense, you kind of feel like you have to be put together as a mom or as a woman and have it all together. But I think it's a thing of, I always say, take it one day at a time, seek the help that you need, the support from family that you know can help you, or from friends, people that you can trust.
Yeah.
But also be true to yourself. If you're struggling, say it.
Yeah.
With me, I remember when I was on maternity leave, I used to go to work. And the way you've left me in the morning is the way I looked. But the house would be clean. The kids, they've enjoyed themselves, but it's just me. I looked like a truck had passed through me or something. But I would tell you when I was really like, I'm
Struggling, yeah.
overloaded. I am
Yeah.
absolutely struggling. You need to help. So
Yeah.
on your days off, you would give me that chance to rest,
Yeah.
recoup.
Yeah.
And this is where you have to talk to your partner and say, you know what, I'm not coping. I think this week was a lot. Please, I know it's your day off, but if you can rest and then give me a chance to rest as well, when you have the capacity to. So it's about really speaking up. And also, yes, there are some things society expect of us, like your child can go to school and they don't look presentable. Because
Yeah.
unfortunately, teachers, they're all there to safeguard your children,
But then it could be
members of the public.
misconstrued into
It can be
something
misconstrued.
else.
So
Yeah.
it's about minimizing that. And sometimes it's not even your own fault, because you have kids that they go to school, they'll mess, they will be
Yeah.
playing rough. You'll be
And
going,
they're
you say,
kids.
oh, let's go shopping. And then someone will be looking at them like, why is your child looking like they've been playing in the mud? Because that's the way boys are. Do you know what I mean? You can't help that. But it's
Yeah.
that thing of, unfortunately, some people will have the negative perception. But
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah. It's just
You
what
know,
it is. It's just what
it is the way it is. But just sometimes as well, we need to try and, I won't say minimize it, but do all you can so that there isn't anything to have to raise concern about, because we've been in that situation,
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
that's a story for another day.
Okay. So, I mean, just looking back so far, I mean, as we are sort of bringing it to a close, what do you think motherhood has been teaching you about yourself? I think you mentioned some at the beginning, but as we're just sort of bringing it to a close, just to end in a sort of positive note. So, looking back so far, what do you think motherhood has been teaching you
I think
about yourself?
Yeah, I think it's a good question. I think motherhood has definitely taught me that my body is capable of bringing forth life, and I guess it's taught me that I am multifaceted. That there's different dimensions to me. There's different dimensions. I've also learned how to sort of what's the word when you do different things at the same time.
You're multitasking.
Yeah, I've learned how to multitask, and it's taught me how to prioritize. It's taught me how to plan better, in a weird way.
Like a project manager.
Yeah, you are a project manager.
Literally, yeah, you are basically.
Yeah. It's also helped me to even refine my cooking skills as well, because you are conscious of like your children's nutritional intake and what they have, conscious of like healthy eating as well, conscious of it's also made me aware of I guess it's made me a project manager. I guess it's made me
For sure.
a nurse within the house as well, or a physician that's looking out for things. And same with you as a father. It's made me proactive. It's made me a go-getter. It's made me definitely strive for more to have for my children. But
yeah, fantastic. Yeah, that's it. Really, but I think in part 2 we would go deeper into like the lessons, relationships, and the support, and what motherhood has taught you about life so far. But we will talk about that more deeply in different part. But today, it's been amazing to have a brief discussion about
Yeah.
motherhood. I know it's very, very deep, but I hope you guys are blessed
Yeah. I mean, it's a
with
lot.
this. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
No, go on, sorry.
yeah. No, so I hope you guys are blessed by these little discussions that we've had about motherhood. Is way, way, way deeper than this. So we'll go probably a bit deeper in part two about several other things that you could probably discuss about, because I'm sure you have more to say around that. But
Yeah,
thank you.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think it would be good to talk about things like breastfeeding, baby led weaning, potty training,
Mm-hmm.
all those things, because those were definitely transitions that
Yeah, that we had to
we had
learn.
to learn as you go along. And it's like, oh, how do you do this? But you know, the support of family, nursery, books, you know, was quite a good one, and
Yeah.
we were able to sort of navigate through that.
True.
But
True. But yeah,
yeah. So thank you
thank
guys
you
for
so much,
watching.
everyone.
Take care.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you for watching this video. We appreciate your support so far. Please don't forget to subscribe, comment, and like our videos. Thank you.